You're watching Taste of Victory.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Booster Set 7 Meta gameplay. We got Blue Hybrids versus DarkKnightmon, Deadly Axemon, Black decks. So these are both really interesting decks because Blue Hybrids is set to be one of the most powerful decks in the meta, while the DarkKnightmon, Deadly Axemon deck is a really interesting new playstyle introduced for Black, where you kind of get a lot of source-based value off of attacking and on plays. So it's a really interesting deck, and I'm really excited to show it off here too. But we're going to start by digivolving into our hybrid, and then we got a pretty good tamer hand with two hybrids that can digivolve over them. So this is a pretty good opening hand, and I'm pretty happy with this. We're going to play the Tommy out right now, even though it gets no value, because I would rather just have it there ready to digivolve, since we have those two hybrids in our hand, to digivolve over them, swing, and stun something in this deck, because this black deck revolves a lot around hard playing stuff, and then hoping to hit things to add to its sources. So if you don't, it's kind of easy to stun it. So I want to get that early Tommy out, even if there wasn't value on its on play. He goes ahead and pulls out his PokeRemixStudio and swings, revealing the one of one of Ice Wall and Security, which basically acts like a Hammer Spark, which reduced his plays because now he has to lost 2 memory, and he plays Monitamon, which reveals the top 3 cards, I believe, and then it lets you grab a level 4 or lower and add it to hand, something like that. I don't remember off the top of my head exactly. This is a new card. He does grab DarkKnightmon, so DarkKnightmon is one of the key pieces of this deck because it has, when attacking, if there's other stacks on the field, you can add them. Other Deadly Axemon stack on the field, you can add their stack to its sources. It's a really interesting playstyle. We're going to go ahead and move out, swing with our blue hybrid Strabimon to beat over the PokeRemixstudio since it is only 1000 DP. Since he has the Monitamon with no sources, I'm going to head and swing to get that draw off Upa. And then he does get a draw off of his dual tamer because we deleted a black Digimon, which is what it does. So he gets that one draw. I have the extra draw off of Strabimon, so I do have that in hand now. I could play it and put him at 1, but he has that tamer out, and if I have 2 or more Digimon, he will go to, he will get +2 memory off it, so I might as well get value off of my stuff. Oh, and then yeah, there I forgot I had Sora Joe. We forgot to activate the effect, so actually I would have been at 4, putting me down to 2 off of Kumamon instead of what I was actually at. So this is what I was talking about earlier, where there's a lot of on play, so I wanted to get that Tommy out earlier so it could swing, because if I had played Tommy this turn, I wouldn't be able to get that swing off Kuma, so it will now stun his Monitamon. And then after that, just deciding how I'm going to pass turn here. Here we see Starlight Velocity, which is a really cool tech card in this deck, because I could play it right now if I wanted to, and then bring out the Tommy from Kumamon and then have it set up for next turn when I'm able to swing again. Again, I would get no value off of the Tommy though, however, so instead I'm just going to put the Koji onto the field in case I need it late game, and that will put him at 1 because he has 2, because I have 2 Digimon or more on the field. He will gain 2 memory off of his black Izzy Joe tamer. So it was good to put him at 1 there so that he doesn't get even more memory, since if I had put him to 2, he would have been up to 4, etc, etc. So it's still important to choke them, even if you know they're going to get that memory gain off of their tamers. Arguably, it's even more important so they don't get an insane amount of memory, because if I had put him to 3, he would have been at 5. So when attacking, you may trash all Digivolution cards to one of your Deadly Axemon and place that Deadly Axemon at the bottom of his Digimon Digivolution cards to digivolve it into a DarkKnightmon, which is the level 5 in this deck. So that's kind of the skill that DarkKnightmon has going for it. And then it has security attack +1, where if a card has Knightmon or PokeRemixStudio in its name, it gets, security attack +1 inheritable. He does have the Deadly Axemon in raising, so if he's able to hold on to it for the next turn, he could push it out, swing, get that source underneath it, get the DP boost off it. So it's a nice synergy and interesting combo there in that deck. Unfortunately for him, I do have the Beowulfmon. And because it is a tamer in its source, it lets me digivolve for only 1 cost, making me able to go into it without passing turn. I'm able to swing, return one of my sources, and then bounces level 4 or lower. I do hit the Breath of the Gods off of that check though, which is unfortunate because I could have been able to do some chip with Strabimon and stuff like that. But it's not the end of the world, because I'd much rather hit it this early game where I'm not doing too many impactful rush down plays. So instead I'm just going to go ahead and play Strabimon. I don't have too many good ways to pass memory turn here, so if I'm going to give him a ton of memory, I might as well at least get some value off it, and it would have been less than if I had played Davis to get that same search effect. I do hit the Beowulf on, so that's cool to be able to do that all over again next turn if I need to. He brings out the Deadly Axemon, who is a lot less value now since he unfortunately doesn't have the Skull Knightmon to be able to combo the Deadly Axemon with anymore. It is an on-play, so he can't really do anything with it. He is instead just going to go ahead and hard Digivolve into the DarkKnightmon on play. You may place one Skull Knightmon and or one Deadly Axe from hand or trash, but he does not have that. Instead, he goes for... he'll go ahead and swing into my rested Beowulfmon. Because of his inheritable, he is 9,000 DP. Breath of the Gods will give him a reboot on my turn, and then his DP can't be reduced or returned to the owner's hand or deck. So that does counter Blue's bounce ability, so that's DarkKnightmon is going to be safe. He plays Pride Memory Boost, which lets him play a level 4 revealed off of the top 3. He plays Monitamon, so even more search value. It's a really nice combo there because you get that free guy off of Pride Memory Boost, and then Monitamon searches to potentially add something else to your hand. He's going to reveal top 3. We see Commandramon, Deadly Axe, and a Spiral Masquerade, so this is a spicy black-yellow list. He adds the Deadly Axemon, which makes sense to synergize with the rest of the deck because of Sora Joe and the Monitamon on the field. That will give me 2 extra memory, putting me to a huge 6 memory. So Monitamon, the Prime Memory Boost, kind of worked against him in that regard a little bit. But I mean, if he believes that I don't have any way to make use of this memory, it's a very bold play, very good to commit to. But unfortunately, he does not know that. And to be fair, it's not the craziest hand in the world. But yeah, it's not always like you never want to give your opponent that much memory, but if they have been playing in a way where you can suspect they maybe don't have a way to abuse all that memory you give them, then it's you know, might as well go for it if it's the only thing that's going to get me out of lethal range. Here I'm just debating how I'm going to do this because I do have enough bodies on board between the Tamers to try and swing, but the thing is, if I hit another Breath of the Gods and Security, that buys him another turn, and maybe that's enough that he needs. So kind of just debating there how I'm going to want to swing. He revealed the, I believe that's DarkKnightmon and Security, that deletes him. I got the draw of Upa, which is what I had more value of. So I think at this point I'm just going to start trying to stun stuff as well. And then, so we got the 1 Digivolution discard off of Kumamon. We gain a memory for swinging off of the Strawbymon Inheritable. Iron Fisted Onslaught, I believe, deletes the highest DP on the field, so that is going to delete my Kumamon, which is fine because it has done its job. I got my draw off Upa, I got my discard and my check, so that's okay for me. Then we got the Strawbymon check, and that is nothing that stops me in security, so we're going to go ahead and Digivolve with a hybrid that is able to Digivolve over a Tamer and swing for a game. So that is awesome. I wasn't able to bounce the DarkKnightmon, but I didn't need to since we had lethal there with how many checks we had between our Tamers. And that's a big thing with this deck. Because of the Tamers, you really can't respond to it too well, so it's hard to do anything when you know your opponent has lethal soon. He plays a Deadly Axemon, which lets him reveal the top 4, I believe, and then he can then he gets to grab the cards from his archetype. That's a lot of good reveals, but reveals that are now going to the bottom of the deck, so that is painful to see. 2 of his Tamers, the Grumblemon, which I believe could have been a hybrid for game if potentially, you know, if he gets into that scenario. So those are all good checks, but not off of a Deadly Axemon, because now they all go to the bottom of deck. I Digivolve into Strawbymon, giving me that cycle at the beginning of the turn, which is always want to see because it is so important to expand your hand and get that missing piece that you may not have that you want. I don't really have any good ways to pass memory here because 4 is honestly a very awkward threshold with a typical memory cost in this game, so I'm either going to give him a lot or I'm going to have to like play suboptimally, so I'm just going to go ahead and set up 2 Tamers. I am holding the Tommies because that stripping 3 sources is pretty huge and able to stop his DarkKnightmon if it does come out again, so I'm going to hold on to it this time. He swings the ST Commandramon. Luckily it hits Tavis, so I'm able to get a search, and that's awesome. I do have the Magnamon, but I also have the Koji out, so like I could grab Magnamon and then I'm able to bounce level 6s with it. But we haven't seen a level 6 come out at all last game, if I'm not mistaken. So the priority for me was Beowulf to be able to bounce his level 4 lowers. Or if I do Koji, return Beowulf and my sources to bounce with Magna Gurumon. So I'm not sure like how many level 6s this deck actually runs, or if it's some kind of Rookie Rush, Champion Rush based thing. But basically, like level 6 hate removal wasn't a big priority for me here, so I grabbed Beowulf. He plays the Hagurumon and another Digimon on the field, so he's wanting to go wide here. Because of going wide like that, I do get the memory of Sora Joe. I Digivolve into Kumamon, stripping that 1 source. And then here there was some confusion. I thought I had Tommy, but that wasn't the case. So I try to stun that, swing over the Dino, but he is 5k. He is 5k to my 4k, so I don't want to do that. So I was like, wait, let me Digivolve for 1 cost first, and then I'll go ahead and do that. I like instantly realized my mistake. So it's like, okay, hold on, let me stun that, and now I'll swing over with a 6k DP to get rid of it on the field. So that's definitely something to keep in mind. Keep in mind of, first of all, you're not even able to stun without Tommy Inheritable, so I need to Digivolve into Kumamon, who stuns something without sources on Digivolution, and now I have enough DP to beat over it. So then I'm going to go ahead and just play Tommy so that I don't make that mistake again, and I am able to swing with something that has Tommy in sources when it's my turn again and stun then. So he has 3 checks on board, which would put me down to 1 security, but it's not lethal, and as far as I'm aware, this deck doesn't have anything with Rush in it. I know we saw that yellow splash, but I really don't believe they would splash in Bushi Agumon, so that's still a 5 cost, and I don't think you would play Blinding Ray with your splash. But they play that card that on search again, reveal top 5. He does at the very least get, I think it was Skull Knightmon, so he's able to get that and add it to hand. And then there's the other Skull Knightmon. I did not catch if it was a DarkKnightmon in his hand or Skull Knightmon. But we did get something off that. We have 5 checks right here on board, but I don't think we have enough memory to go into all 5 of those without passing turn. So this isn't lethal. I do still need to prioritize stunning things before I actually try chipping away security. I do still have a 6,000 beater on field, and he has that rested Digimon, so I'm going to go ahead and swing, draw off a Strabi, get rid of that rested guy since he was only, I think, 4,000 DP, or maybe 5, but either way I am bigger. I then go into Kuamon, who now does have Tommy Inheritable, so I'm able to stun the Skull Knightmon because that has a when attacking effect, so I definitely want to stun it, make sure it doesn't get value off of that. Next, I'm going to play Starlight Velocity. This puts me at 0, but it does give me another Tommy. If he had something on the field that had sources, that would have been huge value, but the point is I'm at the very least able to get a Tommy out, Digivolve into Korikakumon, because Korikaku specifically needs Tommy's Tamer to get its stun effect when Digivolving, so that helps, that Starlight Velocity helped enable that play. He does bring out the Skull Knightmon, so he has that when attacking chance again if he wants to do that. He has a Skull Knightmon. He does have one of the Deadly Axmons on the field, so he could, if he wants to attack, add that to his sources. Looks like that's what he's going to go for. He, when attacking, reveals the Stravimon, so he's going to go ahead and survive that. Skull Knightmon, yeah, Deadly Axmon. I don't believe he went for the effect though when attacking. Instead, he's going to play the Iron Fisted Onslaught, and I do have 2 Korikaku, so unfortunately that is going to put me at, that is going to get rid of 2 of my Korikakumons, which on paper gets away lethal from him, but again, I could just stun long enough until I could get lethal back, because he only has 3 bodies to stun, which is not the hardest thing in the world. I do have a Beowulf in hand. I did Digivolve into Strabi, drawing me into another Magna Garurumon, but again, in this matchup, it's not the craziest utility, it seems like, since you don't have a lot of pressure to remove level 6s. I do have the Beowulf, so I'm able to Digivolve into that for only 1 cost, swing, return the I misclicked there. I meant to return the Skull Knightmon because that other Deadly Axmon has an on play, so I don't actually want it returning to his hand, so he could do that again. I swing over the other Digimon, which gives him a search off of his Upamon Inheritable. And then, it's not Upamon, right? It's like Pagumon. I think it's off the Pagumon Inheritable. And he does hit the level 4 Skull Knightmon that lets him search off of that, so that's cool. But hopefully he will not have enough time to use that. Here I'm debating how I want to play this out this turn next, because it's not like I can actually push for lethal here. I think even with a Magna Garurumon restand shenanigans, I wouldn't be able to. So I'm just going to play Davis, see if I could search for more cards to even be able to use Koji's effect. I hit the Korikakumon, so that's nice at least to have more hybrids to be able to use Koji's effect potentially, since Koji's effect is from hand. I need 6 cards total because I need 5 to put underneath it, and then I need a Magna Garurumon to evolve into it. So you see all these cards in my hand. This unfortunately is not enough to actually go into Magna off Koji's effect, but I don't really need to. There's not that much pressure. As long as I can stun this, I'm able to keep lethal off the board. He does have no source, so I am able to go into Kumamon, then into that guy, and I'm able to stun it. So I have lethal off board now, and I'm able to get another check, chipping away security. So that's great. Lethal has been taken away from me. I'm going to Digivolve here in the back because I don't want to get rid of these Tamers, because 2 of them are really great for my memory gain, which I really want for next turn to be able to Digivolve over my Tamers and then swing for lethal. Make sure I have enough memory to go into all of them the same turn and swing. so I wanted to Digivolve in the back without giving him too much memory, because 3 is a really strong threshold. So I did unfortunately have to spend a Lobomon there. I just Digivolve in the back so I don't waste any of these tamers. He's revealing the Gatsumon in hand. I think here we're just talking about a funny tech he was playing, which was the 4-cost Gatsumon, 6000 DP. It lets you trade with a lot of tamers, or rather a lot of hybrids that Digivolve from tamers, and beat over a lot of others. Like Kumamon is only 4000 DP, so it is a pretty funny tech, and I think there's something in this deck that actually can play it off of the Pride Memory Boost. I believe that's what it is. So that's a funny little spicy tech there. I like that. He plays his Valkomon, so he could play Spiral Masquerade off of that if he had it. It would at the very least get rid of. I think it would get rid of 2, because at the very least he would get rid of 1 of my hybrids. That's for sure. After that, he reveals top 3. 1 second, guys. After that, he reveals top 3 of Monitamon. Sorry for this. Then I'll go ahead and push out into Lobomon, push out into the battle area. So with all these buys on board, I have plenty of checks. I gain a memory off of... So I should have been at 5 because of Sora Joe. So I should have been from 5 to 6. So we were just discussing there. So that was a mistake there. So I should be at 6 memory, including the memory gain off of the Strabi Inheritable, because Strabimon gains you 1 memory when attacking with a 10 warrior or a hybrid. So I'm at 6 memory. There is some fear that I might hit a what do you call it? Ultimate Connection or something like that. That gains memory and security when activated. So I'm just trying to play around that a little bit carefully, seeing what can I swing with before, and seeing if I can deal with board in case I do reveal something in security that could maybe mess me up. But I'm going to go ahead and swing with the Bale Wolfmon. We live that check. So far, so good. Swing with the... also, that is 7k in security, so it does delete my guy. Swing with the Korikakumon for 6k, reveal Monitamon, and I do have the Lobo for game, just like good old times. Nothing has changed. Swing Lobomon, and that will be game. That was the gameplay, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know if there's anything I can do to better these videos. Let me know how you are enjoying playing these decks, and I'll see you in the next video. Until then, remember to stay hungry until you get a taste of victory.